All right, so I started recording now. So now I said JavaScript is a what? Is a block of code designed to perform a particular task. That's the first thing I need to know. And the second thing is like that's three stages. Like defining your function or writing your function has three stages. The first stage is defining your function. So defining your function is going to take the function keyword and the name of the function. So what is the function going to be doing? That's how you name it. So for instance, if you want to multiply two numbers, this is your function keyword and then the name of the function. And then you have both parentheses and curly braces. Now inside of this, your curly braces is where your code goes into. Now the second stage is your argument. Your argument is basically what you want your function to do. And in this case, what do you want your function to do? Multiply x and y. And what is x? 10. What is y? 11. That's 10 times 10 times 11. That's 110, right? Now that's basically what it is. Then the third stage, basically what calls your function. Now it makes your function work. So without this third stage, your function is not going to work. Now those three things are what we talked about in our last class, and I need you to understand it if you are ever going to write function. Now I'm going to give you a quick peek into what I'm saying. So let's say you want to have X. So let's say you want to have a button. First of all, we're going to create a button. And in this button, we're going to call it click me, right? Then I'm going to give this an ID of my 10. Then I'm going to have an H1. So I'm going to have an H1. An H1 that says button has been clicked. Then I'm going to give this H1 an ID again, just so I can select it. So I'm going to call this what head. Do you understand? So if I come here to my app.js now, I can now bring in my H1. So let me just bring in everything. I'm going to bring in my button first. I can say const btn, which is button, equals to document dot get element by ID. And I'm going to call it my btn. I'm not calling it, I'm actually taking it. So it is my btn here, you understand? So I'm bringing it into this place. Then we now have const head or const heading. But let's just call this text equals to document dot get element by what? By ID, and then we'll call it text, which is this one by here. Now I'm going to open a style.css file and I'm going to hide this h1 to make sure that it doesn't show. Style.css. So I'm going to say h1, then I'm going to give it a display of none. Display of none. Now, we're done with CSS. In our HTML, we are done with HTML. Now, in our JavaScript, what do I want to do? I want to make sure that whenever we click on btn, what shows? Whenever on click me, what's going to show? We're going to have what button has been clicked. Do you understand? So whenever we click on the click me button, what's going to come out? We're going to have what button has been clicked. I think the one is, let me check. Which one is not working? Which one is working again? None is working. Have you tried taking to Sterling? Even with this one. Is it? Still try Ash Tech and see if it's going to work. I doubt that. Yes. For the Tech Edu tutor. But don't worry, okay, are you trying to join the call? You don't need any network for now. Just you can try it out, but you don't need any network for now. So now what am I saying? I'm saying that whenever you click on this clip, this gets popped out. So popped up rather. So now let me go live and let us see what we have. So we should have just click me on the browser now. Okay. Okay, there's a mistake here. Okay, let's link CSS. So not link CSS. You could link CSS here, and we have star.css. You should now have what? We should have just clicking. Now, the what I'm saying is that you have star. I edit with star.css. So you understand now. So now, whenever we click this clicking, the H1 that you saw before should come up. Do you understand it now? So that's basically what it is. Now, how do we do it? We'll use JavaScript. Do you get? Using JavaScript now, we'll first of all what? ID. We'll first of all give this particular click name, that's the button, interaction. So what are we going to do? We're going to create a function that listens for what's the name? For a click event. So whenever that particular button is clicked, what's going to happen? The button is what the edge is going to show. So how are we going to do that? We're going to create a function. So we're going to say function of what clicked btn or click button, right? And we're going to say we're going to give it an event listener. So we can say btn dot what add event listener. Then we're going to listen for a what? A click event. We're going to listen for a click event, and then we're going to give it a function. And this function is going to have what? What's function is going to have? We're going to have what? Text, which is this one, dot what? Style dot display. What's it not going to be? What's going to be the display? Block, right? Why, right? Why is it block? Now, the reason why it is block is because, first of all, your start.css right here is showing what? It's saying your H1 is what? Display of none. So in our JavaScript, we want to make sure that whenever this particular button is clicked, this style will change to what? Block. You understand it now? So that's why we are giving it a display of what? Block. Display is none here. That's your H1. And your H1 also has a distinct of what? An ID of head. Do you understand? So we're now saying that whenever, okay, is it text? Yeah. So whenever this button is clicked, this text with the ID of head, which is your H1, changes to what? Block of display of what? Block. Now, if you come back here and you check it out, you should have what? So let's refresh it. If I click it now, okay, sorry, there's a mistake now. So yeah, so I said three things rather. You declare your function, you give your function the argument, and what's the next thing? Call it out. And what's our function name? Click btn. Now, if you go ahead and check this out now, so if I click it, it should work. It's not working. The moment. So we have click btn, btn.add event listener, and listening for a click event function. You said? No, it's linked. Oh, thought I linked it. So script, so we're gonna have app.js. Thank you. So now let us check it out. Let's see. So if I click it now, as you can see, saying what button has been clicked. Now that's a function. Function has what? But now you also do not want this thing to what? Be like this forever. Because now, for instance, now, if I do not refresh it, you're gonna have this forever. Do you get it now? So what you need to do is that we now have to have another function that makes this disappear after many minutes, after many seconds, 5 seconds. That's another function. Do you understand? That's another function. Now, how will that function work? I can go ahead and say, in this particular app.js, I can create another function up here, or I can go ahead and create another function down here. And this brings me to my next topic, which is what? Set timeout. So you have your set timeout function. So now, basically what the set timeout does is that it allows you to create a particular time boundary for a function. So if you want something to happen, it can allow you to create a particular time interval that thing is going to last for. So if you want to make something last for 5 seconds, I don't know what, create it. Okay, this has to show in 5 seconds. This has what, go out in 5 seconds. Do you get it now? So that's what set timeout to do. Now, the set timeout function has its own, what's the name? Layout, or is it layout or syntax? So if I say set time out, so this is the function right here. So let me say set time out. Set time out function. As you can see, you have the set time out. Then I can have my, just like your normal function, I can have my function inside of this place and set the amount of time that I want. Now I'm going to explain set time out in future because we'll be needing this a lot. Do you get? We'll be needing this a lot, so I'm going to explain it later in the future. But for now, I'm going to set time out what? Text dot style dot display, and I'm going to set it to none. Now, this particular set timeout, I'm going to give it 5 seconds. Now, set timeout runs in milliseconds. So, how many milliseconds is going to make 5 seconds? 5,000. You understand? So, 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. 2,000 milliseconds is 2 seconds. 3,000 up until whatever, maybe 6,000. So, 60,000. So, we're going to have 5,000 milliseconds. 5,000 milliseconds is what? 5 seconds. So, now, I'm going to wrap up this function, this set amount in a function, and I'm going to say function time out. So now, I'm not going to go ahead and call this particular function inside of this place. I'm going to say timeout. Now, let us check what's going to happen. So if I refresh this and I click me, now let us wait for 5 seconds and see what happens. It says button has been clicked, and as you can see, after 5 seconds, it disappears. So that is what we mean by reusable. I explained this thing not so you understand the syntax, but so you understand what reusable means. Now, why is it reusable? It is reusable because I created one function here, right? But I am reusing it instead of what? Another function right here. That's basically what your reusable means. So reusable is saying that what you are creating a particular function and then you can easily use it in another function. Now, this thing might be a lot to handle at the beginning, but I need you to understand. I need to know if you understand what we just did. Is it clear to everybody? It's not clear. It's not clear. It's clear. Who is it not clear to? It's not clear.
This
What don't you understand? Is it that you don't understand the code or you don't understand what we are doing?
this one I don't understand how big X is
What I did was that I created this for H1 head, but I don't want it to show unless this thing is not clicked. So I came right here and I gave it the H1 a display of what? None, meaning that it is never going to show. Now I came back to my JavaScript to make sure that whenever this particular button is now clicked, what happened? It is not going to show to block.
that I'm supposed to call this one to schedule that.
Why are we calling the H1? Why are we calling the H1?
I don't know.
In your index of HTML, what do you have here? ID of what? In your JavaScript, what do you have here?
I mean, where don't you that
That's because I already set the value of text. So whenever you see text, what you are saying is on documents of text. We use text.style.display equals block. So text equals what? Documents of getting an ID. Now, this is where I now know I have to like explain. I have to explain what's the name. DOM for you to understand what we are doing here. It's very important that everybody understands what DOM. Okay. think I've explained this before that when you have block is like what are block elements again? Available length and be good. Now, when you're talking about block, you are saying you want it to actually what? Take a particular what's the name? Space, not even that element. You want it to come out. You understand? If I put inline is not exactly going to make it come out. If you have none, opposite of none in display is just like saying block. So if you say block, that means you want whatever was known to come out and show. If you say block, that means you don't want none to appear. If you say none, you understand? It's just like their words are not opposite. So let us check it out. So if you say inline now, let's see if it works. So inline, and let's see what happens. If I say inline, so let me refresh. Okay. And let us check it out. If I click me, now inline worked, but what happened? So I don't even think your set timeout is no longer working. Like all the functions are no longer working. It's like, let's check it out. After 5 seconds. Okay, it's working. All right, that means the only difference between your inline and block is that what? Block takes a full available line, then your inline just takes up what? A particular amount of space necessary for it to let's say for it to work. So that's what inline is. Now let us try inline block and let's see what inline block will do. So if you click, okay, so still the same thing. So let us just use block and let's continue. So we have what? Block. Now I'm going to go ahead and comment this out. I'm going to go ahead, yeah. No, don't write it yet. Mr. Caleb, were you saying something? Let me see.
No, I was not saying anything. I was just looking at the procedure.
Come in, I can't hear you.
I was not saying anything. I was just looking at the procedures.
Why is this thing not connected to this?